I'm Jeremy. Today's day 286 of reading. Today we're reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Let's get started. Please give this video more views. Thank you. We're on page 435. Let's go. Idea of a fair exchange had been to tell Harry to take a bath. Well, he didn't need that sort of rubbish. She helped, not from someone who kept walking down corridors hand in hand with Cho, anyway. And so the first day of the new term arrived, and Harry set off to listen, weighed down with books, parchment, and clothes as usual, but also with the lurking worry of egg heavy in his stomach, as though he were carrying that around with him too. Snow was thick upon the grounds, and the greenhouse windows were covered in condensation so thick they couldn't see out of them in herbology. No one was looking forward to care for magical creatures much in this weather, though, as Ron said, the screws would probably warm them up nicely, either by chasing them or blasting off so forcefully that Hagrid's cabin would catch fire. When they arrived at Hagrid's cabin, however, they found an elderly witch dressed with closely cropped gray hair and a very prominent chin standing before his front door. "Hurry up now! The bell rang 5 minutes ago," she barked at them as they struggled toward her through the snow. "Who are you?" said Hagrid, staring at her. "Where's Hagrid?" "My name is Professor Grubbly Plank," she said briskly. "I am your temporary care of magical creatures teacher." "Where's Hagrid?" Harry repeated loudly. "He is indisposed," said Professor Grubbly Plank shortly. Soft and unpleasant laughter reached Harry's ears. He turned. Draco Malfoy and the rest of the Slytherins were joining the class. All of them looked gleeful, and none of them looked surprised to see Professor Grubbly Plank. "This way, please," said Professor Grubbly Plank, as she strode off around the paddock where the Bucksbane's horses were shivering. Harry, Ron, and Hermione followed her, looking back over their shoulders at Hagrid's cabin. All the curtains were closed. Was Hagrid in there, alone and ill? What's wrong with Hagrid?" Harry said, hurrying to catch up with Professor Grubbly Plank. "Never mind you," she said, as though she thought he was being nosy. "I do mind, though," said Harry hotly. "What's up with him?" Professor Grubbly Plank acted as though she couldn't hear him. She led them past the paddock where the huge Bucksbane's horses were standing, huddled against the code, and toward a tree on the edge of the forest, where a large and beautiful unicorn was tethered. Many of the girls oohed at the sight of the unicorn. "Oh, it's so beautiful," whispered Lavender Brown. "How did she get it? It's supposed to be really hard to catch." And the unicorn was so brightly white it made all the snow around look gray. It was pawing the ground out nervously with its golden hooves and throwing back its horned head. "Boys, keep back," said Professor Grubbly Plank, throwing out an arm and catching Harry hard in the chest. They prefer women's touch, unicorns. Girls to the front, and approach with care. Come on, easy does it." She and the girls walked slowly forward toward the unicorn, leaving the boys standing near the paddock fence, watching. The moment Professor Grubbly Plank was out of earshot, Harry turned to Ron. "What do you reckon's wrong with him? You don't think a screw—" "Oh, he hasn't been attacked, Potter, if that's what you're thinking," said Malfoy softly. "No, he's just too ashamed to show his big, ugly face." "What do you mean?" said Harry sharply. Malfoy put his hands inside his pocket of his robes and pulled out a folded page of newsprint. "There you go," he said. "Hate to break it to you, Potter." He smirked as Harry snatched the page, unfolded it, and read it, with Ron, Seamus Dean, and Neville looking over his shoulder. It was an article topped with a picture of Hagrid looking extremely shifty. Dumbledore's giant mistake. Albus Dumbledore, eccentric headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, has never been afraid to make controversial staff appointments, writes Rita Skeeter, special correspondent. In September of this year, he hired Alastair Mad-Eye Moody the notoriously jinx-happy XR to teach the defense against the dark arts, a decision that caused many raised eyebrows at the Ministry of Magic, given Moody's well-known habit of attacking anybody who makes a sudden movement in his presence. Mad-Eye Moody, however, looks responsible and kindly when set beside the part-human and Dumbledore employs to teach care of magical creatures. Rubius Hagrid, who admits to being expelled from Hogwarts in his third year, has enjoyed the position of gamekeeper at the school ever since a job secured for him by Dumbledore. Last year, however, Hagrid used his mysterious influence over the headmaster to secure the additional post of care of magical creatures teachers over the heads of many better qualified candidates. An alarmingly large and ferocious-looking man, Hagrid has been using his newfound authority to terrify the students in his care with a succession of horrific creatures, while Dumbledore turns a blind eye. Hagrid has maimed several pupils during a series of lessons that many admit to being very frightening. I was attacked by a hippogriff, and my friend Vincent Crabbe got a bad bite of a flabberroom, said Draco Malfoy, a fourth-year student. We all hate Hagrid, but we're just too scared to say anything. Hagrid has no intention of ceasing his campaign of intimidation. However, in conversation with a Daily Prophet reporter last month, he admitted breeding creatures he has dubbed blast-ended screws, a highly dangerous crosses between manticores and fire crabs. The creation of new breeds of magical creatures is, of course, an activity usually closely observed by the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. Hagrid, however, considers himself to be above such petty restrictions. I was just having some fun, he says, before hastily changing the subject. As if this were not enough, the Daily Prophet has now unearthed evidence that Hagrid is not, as he has always pretended, a pure-blood wizard. He is not, in fact, even pure human. His mother, we can exclusively reveal, is none other than the giantess Fridwulfa, whose whereabouts are currently unknown. Bloodthirsty and brutal, the giants brought themselves to the point of extinction by warring amongst themselves during the last century. The handful who remain joined the ranks of He Who Must Not Be Named and were responsible for some of the worst mass muggle killings of his reign of terror. While many of the giants who served He Who Must Not Be Named were killed by the Aurors working against the dark side, Fridwulfa was not among them. It is possible she escaped to one of the giant communities that's still existing in the foreign mountain ranges. If his antics during the Care of Magical Creatures lessons are any guide, however, Fridwulfa's son appears to have inherited her brutal nature. In a bizarre twist, Hagrid is reputed to have developed a close friendship with the boy who brought around you-know-who's fall from power, thereby driving Hagrid's own mother, like the rest of you-know-who's supporters, into hiding. Perhaps Harry Potter is unaware of the unpleasant truth about his large friend, but Albus Dumbledore surely has a duty to ensure that Harry Potter, along with his fellow students, is warned about the dangers of associating with part giants. Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to read the paragraph after the article. Take care, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow. Peace out.